The star was screaming, of course. Stars didn't scream, not in any way humans could hear. But the signals pouring in from the outer edge of the Tullarus system were clear. Solar flares were bursting in patterns too sharp to be natural. Something massive was feeding on it. Inside Earth's galactic outpost, ECH-09, alarms shrieked and red lights spun across the command deck. Everyone was shouting, moving, scanning. Except for Dr. Kenna Riley, she stood still. Eyes wide, jaw tight. "It's eating the sun," whispered one of the officers. "No," Kenna said softly. "It's studying it, testing how it dies." Dark shape moved in the data feed black against the burning surface of the Tullarus star. No reflection, no heat signature, just absence. A living shadow the size of a moon, moving like a serpent in deep space. The name popped into the data log seconds later, marked by an alien distress signal. Verthale class, extinction level bioform status. Uncontainable council. Order, do not engage. The Galactic Council had seen it before. Whole systems lost, fleets erased. Every species that tried to fight it had failed. Their footage always ended the same way, cut off mid-screen, ships vanishing, suns darkening. And now, it was moving toward the inhabited worlds. "Patch me into..." "The Council," snapped Commander Hall. Kenna shook her head. "They'll laugh at us again. The last time Earth asked for a seat at the table, the Council dismissed them as emotional mammals with short tempers and soft skin. Not ready, not evolved enough. Not disciplined. But now the Council themselves were sending warnings. Warnings about a thing that devoured stars like snacks and could not be stopped. Kenna watched the footage loop again. Something in her gut twisted. It wasn't attacking randomly. It followed energy. Warmth. Life. "It's attracted to connection," she said aloud, almost in a trance. "To signals, pulses, neural heat. It's not hunting. It's lonely." Everyone turned to her. Like she'd lost her mind. "You want to say hello to that thing?" Commander Holly asked, eyebrows raised. She didn't answer. She just stared at the Verthale on the screen, moving closer to a nearby planet. Then it paused. No one breathed. It turned, ever so slightly, toward EC-09's signal beacon. And then it blinked out of view. The feed went black. Kenna took a step back from the console. "It noticed us." Commander Holly looked pale. "Prep the defense grid, now." But Kenna didn't move toward weapons. She moved toward the shuttle bay. Someone laughed nervously. "What are you doing, Doctor?" She looked back at them, eyes fierce. "I'm going to meet it." Kenna Riley launched alone into the dark. No escort, no weapons. Just a small science shuttle and the whisper of a theory that could get her killed. Behind her, Earth's outpost, ECH-09, shrank into the stars. In front of her, the Verthale waited somewhere in the black void between Tullarus and the next star system. No one knew exactly where. It was like a ghost in space, appearing, vanishing, destroying. Every other species had run from it. Kenna was heading straight into its jaws. She adjusted the controls, silenced the comms, and activated a pulse signal slow. Rhythmic, calm, not a distress call, not a challenge. Just a heartbeat. Human, steady, alive. The shuttle creaked as the dark stretched around her like an endless ocean. Her fingers trembled, but her eyes stayed sharp. The Verthale had vanished. After seeing the signal from ECH-09, that meant it was thinking. Or feeling, or both. "Come find me," she whispered into the silence. For 2 hours, nothing happened. Then the lights dimmed. Not because the power failed, but because something massive was blocking the starlight. Her screen turned gray. Sensors. Froze. And then there it was. The Verthale emerged like a living shadow, sliding across space with slow, terrifying grace. No engines, no wings. Just a shape so large it made her shuttle look like a dust speck. Its body rippled like it was made of black liquid, and parts of it shimmered with light snow eyes. Thousands of them, All blinking at once, Kenna's breath caught. "I'm not here to fight," she said. Even though her mic was off, the Verthal stopped, one tendril wide as a building drifted toward her shuttle. Everyone watching back at ECH-09 must have thought she was about to die. But Kenna didn't move. She powered down the shields, shut off the engines, opened the cockpit's top hatch. Then she stood up, chest rising and falling in her pressure suit, facing the monster. With open hands, "I'm not like them," she said, heart pounding. "I don't want to cage you. I want to understand." The tendril hovered over her dot, and gently, so gently, it touched the top of her helmet. Kenna didn't scream. She raised a hand and touched it back. Her palm met something warm and vibrating, like a heartbeat. A sound echoed through her bones, like a whale song crossed with thunder. The creature was singing? Back on ECH-09, stunned silence. The Verthal wrapped itself around the shuttle, not to crush it, but like a cat curling around something it liked. It didn't attack. It PURRED. And in that moment, across 100 alien worlds, one message, replayed on loop: the human has made contact with the untouchable. Dr. Kenna Riley was floating in space face to face with a creature every galactic species had called unapproachable, unstoppable, unpettable, and she had just touched it. The Verthal hummed softly, massive tendrils circling the tiny human shuttle. Its movements were slow now, gentle, curious. Not a weapon in sight. Not a single defense drone launched. Just one human and a thing that had eaten stars. Back on ECH-09, panic exploded. "She broke every rule in the contact protocol," a lieutenant shouted. "No weapons, no shield. She should be dead." Commander Hawley stared at the screen, silent. All feeds were now linked directly to the Council's central observatory. Billions were watching, and they couldn't believe what they saw. No armor. No escort. She didn't even bring a translator, Hawley muttered. She didn't follow protocol. "And it's working." Kenna's voice finally came through the comms. Calm. Focused. "Do not interfere. I repeat, do not send backup. Stay out of range. It's not hostile." The Council broadcast a direct warning across human channels. "You are violating Galactic Order 19A. Disengage immediately or face consequences." Kenna ignored it. She floated in silence, letting the Verthal scan her. Her suit's sensors blinked red radiation spikes, unknown energy fields, pressure shifts. All of them should have killed her, but they didn't. Single quotes T. Instead, the Verthal responded to her stillness. Her calm dot, it pressed a glowing patch of its hide toward her. Like it was offering something. Kenna stared at it, then reached up and tapped her helmet's interface, triggering a pulse from her neural band. A human memory, encoded in light, flashed outward. A child petting a dog, a mother holding a crying baby, a man laughing with a dolphin in the ocean. Images of connection, trust, comfort. The Verthal stopped moving. Its glowing patch blinked once, twice, and then a new wave of signals hit her HUD'd alien memory. Planet seen from deep space. Endless loneliness. Thousands of dead ships approaching it with weapons. Fire, fear, pain, silence. They had never tried kindness. Tears welled in Kenna's eyes. "You weren't the monster," she whispered. "We were." The Verthal leaned closer, as if listening. Far away, the Council screamed over interstellar channels. Threats, orders, demands. But none of it mattered. The beast, once thought to be death itself, was now spinning slowly around her shuttle like a moon in orbit. The space around her shimmered with soft pulses, its way of purring. And then, it did the unthinkable. It turned and began heading back toward ECH-09, moving at a speed that should have torn planets apart, but didn't. It was bringing her home. Commander Hawley blinked in disbelief. She didn't tame it. She taught it. Across the galaxy, Species that had once feared the Verthale now feared something else entirely: humans. Not for their weapons, but for their ability to connect with monsters. The Verthal moved like liquid shadow, folding its massive form around the shuttle without a sound. Kenna Riley's heart pounded, but her hand stayed steady on the console. Inside the shuttle, systems flickered as strange energy pulsed through. The beast's touch. The metal hull vibrated softly like a giant breathing beside her. She unbuckled her harness, her breath shallow but determined. The hatch hissed open, letting the cold vacuum of space brush her face. No fear now, only fierce curiosity. Here goes nothing, Kenna said to herself. Slowly, she stepped out. The giant black tendrils curled gently beneath her feet, forming a shaky platform against the endless void. She looked up and up until she saw the full scale of the Verthal. It towered over her like a mountain made of living darkness. Its skin shimmered with stars, flickering with colors that no human eye had names for. Kenna reached out, her gloved hand brushed a ridge of the creature's hide, smooth, warm, and pulsing like a heartbeat. The beast's eyes, thousands of glowing orbs, blinked slowly, watching her. It didn't pull away. It didn't strike. Instead, it lowered its massive head, exposing a crown of glowing crystals that hummed with a soft light. Kenna knelt, placing both hands on the creature's face. She spoke softly, words lost to the void but filled with meaning. Not your enemy. She felt a ripple beneath her hands, a wave of emotion surging through the creature's body. Fear, loneliness, pain, hope. The Verthal emitted a low, vibrating sound. It was not a roar. It was a song, a language older than stars. Kenna closed her eyes, letting the vibrations wash over her. For the first time in her life, she felt truly connected to something beyond human. Suddenly, a sharp crack tore through the silence. Kenna's eyes snapped open. In the distance, several alien warships appeared, sleek, deadly, and armed to the teeth. They had followed her. They saw the Verthal as a threat to be destroyed. The Verthal stiffened, its tendrils curling defensively. Kenna stood between the alien ships and the beast. No, she shouted into her comm. Stand down. It's not attacking. The alien captains ignored her. Weapons locked. Energy beams flared. Kenna's mind raced. She had one chance. She reached into her suit, pulling out a device, a neural interface meant to calm hostile creatures. With shaking hands, she activated it. A wave of soft blue light burst out, wrapping around the warships like a calming fog. The weapons powered down. A voice crackled over the alien comm channels, confused and fearful. What is this sorcery? Kenna smiled, her voice steady. This is trust. Something humans have in abundance. The Verthal relaxed. It extended a tendril, gently touching the nearest alien ship's hull. A stunned silence fell. For the first time, the impossible happened. The monster the galaxy feared was no longer untouchable. It was ready to be understood. The entire galaxy held its breath. Back on Earth's outpost ECH-09, the command room was silent except for the flicker of monitors. The live feed from Kenna's shuttle had suddenly gone dark. No signals, no images, no sound. For 43 agonizing seconds, no one moved. Then a deafening roar shattered the silence. It echoed through the speakers, low and powerful, like thunder crashing across a canyon. But it was not a roar of anger or destruction. It was the sound of a creature alive, curious and awake. Suddenly, the feed flickered back on. The screen showed an impossible sight. Kenna was sitting beside the Verthal's massive head, her hand resting gently on its shimmering black skin. The creature's eyes, hundreds of glowing orbs, blinked softly, as if watching a trusted friend. The Council's alien representatives erupted into chaos. Some shouted orders to shut down the broadcast. Others sat frozen in disbelief. How could the deadliest creature in the galaxy be tamed by a single human? Commander Hale stared at the screen, voice barely a whisper. She's alive, and it's alive with her. The Verthail's tendrils curled around the shuttle, but not to crush. It moved protectively, like a mother guarding her child. Suddenly, a ripple passed through the beast's skin. A slow, pulsing glow spread across its body. Bathing Kenna in soft light. It was a signal. One Kenna understood. She tapped her helmet's control, sending a gentle pulse back. The light shifted, matching the rhythm of the Verthal's glow. Back in the council chambers, the alien leaders shouted over one another. How is this possible? This defies everything we know. Kenna's voice crackled over the comms. This creature is not a weapon. It's not a destroyer. It's a living being capable of trust. Alien technicians scrambled to decode the pulses. What they saw surprised them, a complex network of emotions, memories, and a strange yearning for connection. The galaxy's greatest fear was not a monster. It was loneliness. Kenna rose slowly and looked out at the void. We've been fighting monsters without understanding them, she said. Maybe it's time to change that. The Verthal rumbled softly, and then it began to move. Slowly, gracefully. It turned away from the burning star it had been feeding on. It was heading home, toward Earth. The council chambers exploded in chaos. Dozens of alien ambassadors shouted over one another. Tentacles slammed on tables. Feathers flared. Mandibles clacked in alarm. The broadcast from Kenna Riley's shuttle had just shown the impossible. The Verthal, the galaxy's apex predator, had bonded with a human. Now it was moving. Not to destroy a star. Not to attack. It was following her home, to Earth, hissed a Hikari warlord. She's leading it to her own planet? Is this a trick? She's weaponized the uncontainable, shrieked a diplomat from the Saraxi Empire. No, said a soft, trembling voice near the back. An elder from the Alunai species, long respected for their wisdom. She bonded with it. Silence fell. Then the panic grew worse. The Vertha wasn't just following her, it was protecting her. Alien fleet commanders scrambled their navies. Warnings flashed across military channels. Civilian ships were grounded. Entire colonies were put into lockdown. Earth received a direct transmission from the Council. Return the creature, or face galactic consequences. At Outpost ECO9, Commander Hale watched the incoming message with tight lips. Council's bluffing, he muttered. They've tried to kill it for centuries. Never succeeded. Now we're the ones it listens to, said Kenna calmly. Walking into the room, everyone turned. She had just arrived back at the station. Behind her, outside the observation window, the Verthal floated quietly, massive, still, and watching. It hadn't touched the station, hadn't damaged a single thing. It simply waited. Like a loyal companion. Kenna removed her helmet. Her hair clung to her forehead, damp from sweat. But her eyes burned with purpose. The galaxy thinks strength comes from fear, she said. We just proved it can come from understanding. A silence settled over the control room. Someone whispered, You want us to keep it? Kenna nodded. It's not a pet, it's not a weapon. It's a being, smarter than we know, older than we can imagine. And if the Council comes for it? Asked Commander Hale. Kenna's voice dropped, cool and clear. Then they'll learn what it means when something that powerful chooses a side. She walked toward the observation glass. The Verthal drifted closer, eyes glowing softly. Millions across the galaxy were watching the scene live. The monster of legends. The human who touched it. And the moment everything changed. Some alien species turned off their war alerts. Others quietly began opening communication with Earth. And in the shadows of the Council, a few leaders whispered among themselves. If humans can bond with that, what else are they capable of? The Council demanded an emergency summit. For the first time in galactic history, Earth was invited to speak as equals, not because of their power or their politics, but because of the monster that followed them. inside the vast ring-shaped council hall, Kenna Riley stood alone on the central platform. Above her, thousands of alien eyes watched from floating platforms, some curious, most furious. Behind her, on a massive holoscreen, the Verthal hovered silently in Earth orbit, calm, waiting. A Hikari general leaned forward. "You brought a galactic extinction-class lifeform to your home planet. That's not peace, that's a threat." Kenna didn't blink. "It was a threat to those who attacked it. We didn't. We listened." "You claim it obeys you?" sneered a counselor. "Prove it." Kenna touched the console in front of her. In the skies above Earth, the Verthal shifted. A massive tendril rose from its core, glowing with light. It pulsed once, twice, and then vanished. Across the galaxy, council defense grids flickered, then went dark. Sirens wailed in the council chambers as systems scrambled to reboot. Kenna spoke quietly. "You call it a monster, but it just disabled your weapons without harming anyone." That was restraint. The room buzzed with shock and disbelief. An insectoid delegate shouted, "You dare threaten this council?" Kenna turned her gaze toward him. "No, but if you try to hurt it again, or force Earth to surrender it, then you'll see what a real threat looks like." A hush swept across the chamber. Commander Hale stepped into view on the holoscreen. "You've called us animals, fragile, short-lived, undisciplined. But tell me, how many of you have ever calmed the thing you feared most?" No one answered. Kenna took a step forward. "We didn't tame the Verthal. We understood it. We earned its trust. And now it protects us." One by one, feeds across the chamber lit up images from dozens of alien worlds, showing people watching the VOR. Thal float beside Earth like a silent guardian. No destruction, no chaos, just presence, power with purpose. The council chair, a long-necked being with glowing veins, stared hard at Kenna. "What do you want, human?" Kenna didn't hesitate. "Full council status for Earth, recognition, access to shared tech, and peace." "You threaten us and ask for peace?" "We don't threaten, we warn," Hale replied. "Because from this moment on, you're not the top of the food chain anymore." The words rang out like a final judgment. The chamber fell silent. For the first time, the council realized something terrifying. The Verthal wasn't humanity's prisoner. It was their partner. The Verthal hovered above Earth like a second moon. Its massive body shimmered with soft light, casting gentle waves over oceans and continents. No longer a galactic horror story, it had become something new, a symbol, a protector. A line in the stars that no enemy dared cross. And all of it, because one human reached out with an open hand. Across the galaxy, everything changed. In council war rooms, military leaders deleted ancient attack plans. Civilizations that once mocked Earth now requested peace talks. Even the fiercest empires paused, suddenly aware that their fleets couldn't stop the one creature humans called friend. Kenna Riley stood at the United Earth Assembly, facing a wall of cameras. She wore a plain black jumpsuit, no medals, no rank, just the truth. "The galaxy thought power was measured in lasers and fleets," she said. "But it was never about control. It was about connection. That's what makes us human. That's what the Verthal saw in us." The cameras cut to the stars. The creature moved slowly in orbit, visible to billions. It didn't roar. It purred. On alien planets, children who once feared the Verthal now watched it in awe. Merchants sold holotoys shaped like its tendrils. Schools taught it songs. Refugees from worlds once destroyed by war began calling it the Watcher. But not everyone cheered. In the darker corners of the galaxy, whispers grew louder. "If humans can bond with something like that," muttered a general from the Krell Dominion, "what else are they capable of?" "The galaxy won't be theirs," said another. But even they knew Earth had changed the game, forever. Back on Echo 9, Kenna stood alone at the observation window. Staring into the void, the Verthel floated in the distance, watching her silently. She smiled. "You're not a weapon," she whispered. "You're a warning." A new transmission came in. Council approved. Earth was now a full member. No more mockery. No more denial. Humanity had earned its seat, not with bloodshed, but by touching the untouchable. As Kenna turned to leave, a low vibration passed through the station. Not a tremor, not a threat, just a hum, a hollow. Somewhere in deep space, others like the Verthal might be out there. Waiting, hiding, alone. Now they knew there was a species in the stars that wouldn't shoot first. They'd reach out, and for the first time, the galaxy realized the truth. Humans were the most advanced species, but they were the most dangerous, because they could turn nightmares into allies.